Today's lesson is on the distributive property and simplifying expressions. So one more step more than what you did in the last lesson where you just combine like terms. We're going to distribute, practice the distributive property, and then we're going to combine like terms. So that's what we're going to be doing. That's called simplifying an expression, which I'll talk about in a minute. Okay, so here's an example of the distributive property. The distributive property is called that because you're taking the number that's on the, or whatever is on the outside and distributing it to each thing's on the inside. So here's an example over here with just letters. So here I'm doing A, I'm distributing it to B, and then A being distributed to C. So it's kind of like we're doing this idea. Okay, so this would be AB. Since I don't know what A and B are, I can just physically put them together, plus AC. And that's all I can do, because I don't have anything else to do. I don't have any math to do, so that would be my answer. So if you had it in subtraction, then it would be AB minus AC. But, of course, it's a little bit easier to do when you have more than just a bunch of numbers and you have some letters involved. So we're going to practice doing some of those today. All right, so number one. So number one says 7 times the quantity of x plus 4. That's how you say that. 7 times the quantity of x plus 4. That's how you say it mathematically. So we're going to take this 7 and we're going to distribute it to each one of those. And I'm going to write it out just so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm doing 7 times x plus, because there's plus on there, 7 times 4. Okay, so 7 times x and 7 times 4. So 7x plus 28. Now, as we talked about in the last lesson about combining variable terms and constant terms, there isn't anything to combine, so I would be done here. I won't have to do anything else. Okay, number 2. Take the 2 and distribute it to each one of these. So this would be 2 times b. Remember, when you put a number next to a letter, it's all automatically multiplication. Minus, because that's the minus that's there, 2 times 3. 2 times 3. So we get 2b minus 6. And that's your answer. All right, number 3. Now, 3 is a little bit difficult because there's a negative in our problem. So what a negative will do is it will change the sign of anything on the inside of the parentheses. So where this is a positive y and a positive 3, these two are going to come out to be negatives when we distribute. So here I go. I'm going to do negative 4 times y and a negative 4 times 3. So negative 4 times y plus negative 4 times 3. So we get negative 4y plus negative 12. And every time you have a plus minus next to each other, you wipe out the plus sign. So our final answer is negative 4y minus 12. And that's our answer there. Notice that it was a positive y, now it's a negative 4y. It was a positive 3, now it's a negative number. So the negative on the outside will change the signs of the numbers on the inside. Okay, so let's do number 4. Number 4, negative 5 times each one of these. Okay, so negative 5 times m minus negative 5 times 2. Okay, so we get negative 5m minus a negative 10. Now, when we see two minuses together, a minus, it makes it into a positive. So like I said before, see how this was a positive and this was a negative. Now it's a negative and this guy's a positive, so they change sign. And that's your answer. Okay, number 5, I threw that one in there because you've got a negative in front of it. So it's like a negative 1. So this is like negative 1 times y minus negative 1 times 9. Okay, so this is negative 1y minus negative 9. So chop, chop makes a plus sign. So there's negative 1y plus 9. And again, the SOLs will drop the negative 1 because it's understood. So now you just kind of practice doing now the hard part, and I draw these little arrows on here because I have a tendency to do the first number and forget about the second thing. So I put my arrows in here to remind me to do both of them. And especially when I get tired, I tend to forget. So I got 8 times 4 minus 8 times b. So this is going to be 32 minus 8b, and I'm done. Okay, so let's pick some where we got some letters. Let's try number 11. Okay, so we're going to do 11. This is x times y plus x times 4. So this is xy, because I can't do anything with that, plus, and 4x, I mean x4 is really 4x. So I'm done here. Okay. Alright, let's do number, let's do number 13. Okay, so again, 6a times b plus 6a times 2c. Okay, so 6ab is 6ab plus, this is going to be 12ac. Again, you're putting the big numbers together and putting the letters together. Remember, and this is all multiplication here, so you've got to do, you multiply in any order. We learned that when we did the commutative property. I can move it in any order and still come out with the same answer. So I can move the 6's and the 2 around and the a and c around, and you get this 12ac. Alright, number 14 just says, hey, I'm multiplying everything by 2. Again, I have 3 of those this time, so it's 2x minus 2y plus 2 times 8. So 2x minus 2y plus 16. I'm done with that one. Okay, so I think you get the idea. And then, like 15, we'll multiply by x, so everybody will gain an x on this. So let's just do that one real quick. If I do that, then I get 2xy. I always put everything in alphabetical order. xz, and then I'm going to get 1x. And again, you would drop the 1. But you can put it there if you want. I'm not going to do any of these fractional ones. You can. Actually, let's do this number 16 just to say we've done it. Alright, so if you put this in your calculator, you can change that to a decimal if you want, but 1/4 of 8x, so I'm doing 1/4 times 8x minus 1/4 times 4. So 1/4 of 8x, put that in your calculator, you're going to get 2x, and then 1/4 of 4 is just 1. So this answer is 2x minus 1. Alright, so the last thing we have to do, and I don't have to go crazy with these, is we've got the distributive property mixed with the previous lesson, which is the distributive property. The combining like terms. We're not going to do these two. Alright, so here we go. Number 19, got to distribute. So 8 times 2x minus 8 times 3. And then I got this minus 6x I got to do something with in a second. Alright, so this is 8 times 2 is 16x minus 8 times 3, which is 24, minus 6x. And now this should look like what you did in yesterday's lesson, the previous lesson on combining like terms. I'm going to put the 16x together with a minus 6x. So that's going to give me 10x minus 24. And I'm done. Okay. Alright, number 20 is a little bit more complicated. It's got double distributive property. You might have that on SOL. I'm not quite sure, but we're going to do the distributive property here, and then we're going to do the distributive property here. Okay. So the first one's going to be 9 times 2k minus 9 times 4. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to treat this as a negative 2. So I'm going to do negative 2 times 7k minus negative 2 times 12. Again, the minus sign here is matching this minus sign. This minus sign here is matching that one. Okay. Alright, so here, if I clean that up, I get 18k minus 36, and then I get a negative 14k minus negative 24. So let's see, cleaning this, I don't really, yeah, I'll clean this up. I see two minuses, so make those pluses. All right, so now I'm going to combine like terms again. I have two variable terms and two constant terms. So these two together will give you 4k. The negative 36 and the positive 24 will give you a negative 12. So this is my final answer. So some of them will take a little bit more to work through. Okay, but that's how it works. And so you just kind of take your time. This one down here, number 22, we got to distribute, and then we got the 6 kind of hanging out there waiting for any constants that come out of this. So again, we can do that. Let's do, how much time we got? 10 minutes? Let's just do it. If you get it, you can stop the video now. If you want me to go through this last one, I'm going to. All right, so the 6 is not involved. Do not add 6 and 8. That's not what you do here. You leave the 6 plus, and now you're going to do the distributive property. So this is 8 times 4w minus 8 times 7. Now we talked about this before. The minus sign here is just going to change their sign. So these two guys are just changing sign. Okay, the negative 1 just changes that to a negative and changes that positive to a negative. Okay, all right, so I just have to clean this up. I'm going to leave the 6. 8 times 4 is 32w minus 8 times 7, which is 56. I got the minus 2w and the minus 1. So all I have to do now is combine like terms. So I'm going to put the 32w together with the minus 2w. That's going to give me 30w. And then I've got 3 constants. I got 6 and negative 56, which is negative 50. And then another negative 1, which is negative 51. And that's your answer for that one. So I'm going to stop here. Again, just find me if you need some more examples. I can make up examples or I can use some of the ones that we didn't cover. But you're responsible for doing the ones that are on this video.